Hi, fellow Lancers. My name is Ashley Hansen. I'm a junior at CBU and I'm majoring in sociology. So, just a little bit about myself. I'm also a senior TASE specialist, which is a transitional age youth specialist within Riverside County Children's Mental Health, also known now as Riverside University Healthcare Systems / Behavioral Health. I currently am the senior for the RBY program, which is Resilient Brave Youth, and we provide TFCBT, which stands for Trauma Focused Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, for survivors of human sex trafficking, also known as CSEC, which stands for Commercially Sexually Exploited Children. And so I got into the mental health field as a result of my oldest child, Cameron, being diagnosed at the very rare young age of 8 with schizophrenia. And so as a result of that diagnosis, the psychiatrist told me, like, he'll never be able to finish school. Don't ever expect him to move out of your home. He's going to require lifelong care and mental health services. And as a mom, I refused to take that as the end all be all. I knew that my child was divinely created, and I knew that I had to seek out the education and the support within my community and the resources in order to provide him the skills and the tools in order for him to thrive as he grew. And that's what I did. So I started the whole mental health journey originally as a parent, trying to just find answers and support. And so I got involved in parent support groups, parenting classes at Children's Services in Riverside. And what ended up happening was, because I got so involved, they offered me a position as a parent partner. So I began to work in a program known as ISF Wraparound, which was a intense case management program for youth and families who had involvement with the Juvenile Justice Center. And I really found my passion there because I was a youth on juvenile probation and I struggled with substances from the age of 10 until I was 26. And so I understood where these kids were coming from, and I understood the desperation of the parents. And I was able to turn what had always felt like my deep, dark secret or my character flaws. I was able to turn it around and provide hope to the children and the youth and the families that I was working with. And so in that, I found God's path for me. I discovered that all of the negative choices and experiences, whether it be traumatic or shameful, that I had gone through those experiences for a reason. And it was to be able to turn around and provide hope. And so in working with ISF Wraparound, I discovered that I wasn't uneducated. When I began to work for Riverside County, that was extremely scary for me because like I said, I had this history of substance use, being on welfare, and relying on resources in the community to survive. And I was going into a clinic setting where I was going to be considered a provider, and that was very scary for me. And actually, I found a lot of support from my coworkers. They were very accepting and encouraging of where I had come from. And I actually worked with a clinician. Her name was Nayeli. And she told me, Ashley, you're so smart. Why don't you go back to school? And I was like, no way. Like, I dropped out in 7th grade. Like, I appreciate that you see this amazingness in me, but I don't see it. And so over time, she kind of groomed me into believing, like, hey, you could do this. And so finally, one day she told me, like, hey, if you're going to continue to rob yourself, then go right ahead. And I said, oh, no, I'm not going to rob myself. And I contacted CBU. And when I went in and I met with the counselor, He told me, okay, we need your high school transcripts, your GPA, 24 transferable units from another institution. And I was like, I don't have any of that. And he's like, well, what are you doing here? And I said, you know what? I know for a fact that I am on God's path. God placed me in mental health, and this is where I'm meant to be. So with that being said, he told me, write your story in a 2-page essay, make sure that it's grammatically perfect, and submit it to me, and I'll share it with the dean. No promises, right? So one thing that I've always been is a writer. And I wrote that story, made sure that it was grammatically perfect, and I submitted it, and I found out within 5 days that I had been accepted into CBU Online Professional Studies and majoring in sociology. So they told me to keep a C grade or better, and I have put my all into this education and into academics. I love reaping the benefits of new knowledge and being able to implement it into my work field and into my daily life and have these educated conversations with people and opening dialogues. And I love, love, love education, and you just can't put a price tag on what you gain here. And so moving forward into my dreams and aspirations, so I'm majoring in sociology to obtain my BA, and then I want to go into USC, into their MSW program, to obtain my master's in social work, with the ultimate goal of becoming an LCSW, so a licensed clinical social worker, as I would like to be the clinician who provides TFCBT to the population of youth that I work with. I have a lived experience of exploitation, and I know the value of treating that early childhood trauma. And I truly believe that the treatment of that first trauma that the youth identifies is going to be the game changer in changing the way that our children are groomed and forced into sex labor. And I have an ultimate passion for this. And also, my comfortability with speaking in public. I'm extremely comfortable with speaking in public. I think the largest audience that I've ever provided a speech to was about 400 people. And just like Professor Hayden shared in his video, we are all susceptible to anxiety prior to speaking. I mean, I think I have more anxiety doing a video than I do in front of people, because the only person I can see right now is myself giving the speech, where in a larger forum, I am able to read my audience's social cues, the eye contact. I actually find a lot of peace and comfort in being able to make eye contact with my audience. And I get to see their emotion when I'm conveying this message, whatever the message is. For the most part, I do a lot of public speaking about recovery. I speak about reducing stigma in mental health services, the LGBTQ community. I have a huge passion for the LGBTQ community, as my oldest son is transgender. So I do a lot of parent perspective, and coming from a Christian perspective of being loving and supporting of my child and his identity. I just believe that my son was created and that God doesn't make mistakes. So that's the aspect that I'm coming from. So I do a lot of community engagements. I probably speak at public forums and conferences, probably once a week to every other week, and that's around Riverside County. So I am very comfortable with public speaking, and so with that, I'm going to go ahead and close because I'll just keep talking. All right, so have a good day, and I look forward to seeing all of your guys' speeches and videos as well.